Winter. It's the time for beautiful snow-capped landscapes, cozy fires, and spending time with those you love. For literally everyone but the northeastern United States. I don't know about you, but winter sucks. I spend more time shoveling ice, falling on my ass, and questioning why I still live in this icy grave than enjoying any of these festivities. So, it's only natural for me to want to crack the skulls open of the beasts that put me through this torment. The weather. Legiana. So these aren't the monsters that are responsible for snowstorms, but they are certainly associated with colder temperature regions and wind. Introducing the Tokyo drifting wyvern of the Monster Hunter series and its frozen counterpart. These flying wyverns are the apex predators of the upper reaches of the Coral Highlands, utilizing chilling winds to freeze prey and use its superb precision and agility going Mach fuck to finish them off. While very cool and slick design-wise, there was something going on with my brain electricity that was saying, hey, yo, this is a red flag. Something didn't sit quite right, and while becoming a human popsicle outside, I finally figured it out. Wouldn't the Legiana just freeze to death? With no fur or space for large amounts of blubber, small body volume, and a really high surface area due to the membranes between the wings and the tail, I wondered if such beasts could even exist and survive in freezing temperatures without becoming an ice cube. So once again, instead of being a functioning member of society, I decided to activate my scientific noggin and use some of the stuff I've learned selling my soul to the government for loans to answer this very, very important question everyone was asking. Nerd shit time! Many vital chemical reactions in your body are dependent on body temperature. Having your body cells become too hot or too cold could inhibit some proteins from functioning and catalyzing some pretty important reactions. Just like how you don't want to do work while burning, freezing, or having acid poured all over you, proteins don't want to either. Proteins are very susceptible to changes in temperature and pH. Small variations in either can cause a conformational and structural change, inhibiting some of their functions. Let's take hemoglobin as an example. This is a protein responsible for binding oxygen in blood and carrying it to necessary organs. As temperature increases, hemoglobin structure changes very slightly. This decreases its ability to bind to oxygen and helps release any it holds. On the other hand, as temperature decreases, it opens up and increases binding potential. If this temperature balance is not controlled and strays too far from the norm, the ability to release and bind oxygen will fail at critical points, causing organ failure. Which, if you couldn't guess, it's not usually a good thing. To prevent such wide changes in body temperature, many mammals have adapted to the environment they live in with the appropriate external covering. Scales, fur, hair, blubber, carcasses, etc. But these could take up to entire seasons to accumulate the appropriate amount to keep them safe. Besides, it is impossible to predict daily changes in weather and acquire the necessary coating. I mean, just look at the weather person I so very hate. They get paid to lie to you on TV. If we can only estimate weather with a large degree of error, I don't think lesser organisms can get it with perfect accuracy then. In the meantime, forces like sweating, panting, or shivering can aid in maintaining body temperature during the short run at the cost of very precious energy. All these processes work together to maintain a stable body temperature and prevent an early meeting to the heavens for all. Fuck. Remember everything I just said about needing to maintain a constant body temperature? Well, that was only for warm-blooded animals, not cold-bloods like reptiles. Warm and cold blood does not actually refer to the temperature of the blood or how it feels to the touch. It only refers to how body temperature is regulated in oneself. Welcome to English. Despite what the words literally mean, it's not the socially accepted meaning of the phrase. I hate it. Warm bloods have a stable internal temperature that is regulated through everything that I listed before. Humans remain around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or about 37 degrees Celsius for all of you non-freedom speakers, 99 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit for horses, 101 to 102.5 degrees Fahrenheit for dogs, and 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit for the abomination known as the platypus. Go outside this range and your body is going to start screaming at you to return to normal. Or it could also just purposely go higher and make you feel like shit for an entire week. Cold bloods, on the other hand, cannot regulate their own body temperature and rely on the environment to do so for them. The proteins in their body have been developed to be able to work at a lot more different temperatures than those that we find in warm bloods. While not needing to expend energy to maintain body temperature may sound like the crappiest superpower, it has one major flaw, even a kryptonite. Extreme temperatures, especially with colder ones. Extreme temperatures can very quickly turn an it into a was. You ever heard the fact that the human body is made up around 60% water? If you haven't, now you have. This is a really big problem as temperature decreases. You see, water likes to freeze at a temperature that isn't uncommon in certain regions. If one cannot at the least maintain the temperature of the water in their body, they start the transformation into being a preserved specimen for the future. Now that is being pretty cold, but you want to know what would be even colder? If you didn't hit that subscribe button below this video. Yeah, that one. The nice, warm and cozy one. I will turn off your heat if you don't. You really doubt me? You asked for it. Okay, sounding all smart is exhausted. Back to your regularly scheduled program of random bullshit. Just for simplicity's sake and not definitely because I'm lazy, the hoarfrost region appears to be equivalent to the Arctic Circle. Most of the species we find living in this area of the Earth are warm-blooded with either heavy fur coats or enough body volume to allow for copious amounts of blubber. Even though wyverns are cold-blooded, those that we see in the hoarfrost reach, especially those that only appear here, follow similar patterns. The bear borer has a bunch of fur, while the bear coldest has enough body volume to allow for blubber. Now, being cold-blooded is still out of the ordinary, but I could also just cough this up that metabolism can keep their insides warm enough to survive. Can you see where I'm going with this? Slim body, no fur, cold-blooded, freezing temperatures. How? How? The shrieking Legiana is so cold that icicles are coming off of it. Icicles! If that's not a sign of near freezing body temperatures, I don't even know what could be now. Instead of just leaving it there, throwing my hands up and saying, unrealistic, 0 out of 10 design, go back to school, nerds. What would it take for something to survive with bodies like this? Now, I want to know what you think down in the comments below, but this is what I think. Well, 99% of the species that inhabit the Arctic Circle are warm-blooded. The 1% is where things can get a bit fishy and allow me to swim to a potential answer and finish this video. It's a fish. I'm going to fish of the Arctic are kinda special. You are my special. No, not in that way. That just makes me sad. They are special in a way that allows them to survive in freezing waters, and that is actually pretty darn cool. Introducing the forbidden chug jug of motor vehicles, antifreeze. I am not kidding. Well, maybe a little bit. It's not the same antifreeze, and it does work a bit differently. Please put down that stuff. Consuming that will only send you to the hospital on your deathbed, ready to meet whatever lays behind the gates of a heart attack. Fish species that survive in sub-zero waters have evolved to produce antifreeze proteins in their blood to prevent their demise. These are helical proteins that attach to ice crystals found in the blood, and through some big brain chemistry it melts and allows the fish to live happily ever after until being eaten by either a water puppy or a murder panda. So, is it possible for the Legiana to exist like this? Yes! Does it still hurt my brain? Also yes! Okay, I'm about 8.5 minutes overdue, so let's get this wrapped up. Be safe out there, hunters. You have no idea what abomination of biology is coming out next. Corrupt Viper returning home now. Hey, thank you very, very much for making it all the way to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. If you're interested in watching more, I've got another video right here, so give that a check. And I hope to see you in the next one that's going to come out sooner than this one did. Alright, peace out everyone.